We are at a very critical junction of our sermon series in the book of Romans, and I call it the season finale for season 1. Reason why it's season finale is because we are about to enter a section of the book of Romans that the faint of heart should not even consider entering, because season 2 gotta be bold and courageous if you're going to step into it, because it's like no other. But before season 2 begins, there is a transition that kind of like provides a preview, kind of like a prequel on what is to be expected, and it has to do something about terror. And what American is not familiar with terror? I was actually studying on terror, and I found something significant. That terrorists are primarily not masters of warfare. They're not good with weapons, actually. They're clumsy. They're not sharpshooters. But they are masters of mind control. Do you agree? Well, the reason why that is so is because they kill very few people. But while they kill very few people, they terrify billions of people. They shatter political structures and they unearth nations. Let's go to statistics. Since September 11, 2001, 9/11, each year, the terrorists have killed about 50 people, 50, in the European Union. About 10 people yearly in the United States. Just 10. About 7 people in China. Big China. Only 7 people. And yes, 25,000 people elsewhere in the globe, and that includes Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Syria. That's a good number of people, but not a lot of people. Now compare that with every year, okay? Every year, traffic accidents kill about 80,000 Europeans every year. 40,000 Americans die in their cars every year. 270,000 Chinese die in vehicular accidents every year. When you sum that up, that's 1.25 million people dying of traffic accidents every year. Compare that with terroristic deaths. Isn't that crazy? Well, we're not done. Diabetes, high sugar levels, every year kill 3.5 million people, and we're not scared of sugar. Let's push it further. There's something that we totally so ignore. 7 million people globally die each year from air population. Compare that with terrorism deaths. But why are we so scared of terrorists more than sugar and smog? There has to be something there that's disconnected in the way humans view terror. You know what? If we invite God in the equation now and conduct a survey globally, are you scared of God? Just this century, probably. On a scale of 1 to 10, how scared are you of God? And compare that with if a terrorist suddenly points a gun at us and just barges into that. On a scale, and comparative scales, who are you going to be more scared? That masked terrorist or God? People, that's the reason why the Apostle Paul is onto something when he introduces season 2 of Romans. He's saying something is disconnected in the minds of humans. You guys do not get who God is. Because if you are going to know God, that He is the author and the sustainer, and where the righteousness of God comes from, the righteousness of God. If we are going to understand the righteousness of God, that God is super sweet, super loving, super faithful, super generous, we need to understand that He is supreme and super angry also. Because He is absolutely fair. His justice is impeccable. And because His justice is impeccable, we need to know that if we're going to have faith in His goodness and His grace and His mercy, if we need to know that we have to get clarity on what that exactly means, then we need to be clear on what exactly means when God said, I am also the God of wrath. I am capable of the most supreme wrath humans have yet to see. Sacred terror. That's why this is very interesting. By the way, we just introduced the book of Romans, just so you know. Romans 1 to 17, and it took me about 2 months to introduce that, right? So it probably will take us 5 years here, the book of Romans. I'm just saying, but anyway, we just introduced the book of Romans, Romans 1 to 17, and now going into season 2, here it is. But before he opens it up, review. Romans 1:13. Let me give you the title the Apostle Paul goes. Sacred Terror. My goodness. And I must be honest with you. I've been studying the Bible for as long as I have committed myself to my vocation as a pastor. But to be honest with you, each time there was a study on terror, I kind of like ignore it and skip it. Because God is love. God is tender. God is kind of like loving to me. But I must not escape and skip the other side. Because God is a God of terrible terror. And why so? So here it is. They said that without revelation, without God disclosing the true things about us, without revelation, humans become confused. And then they start depreciating themselves. Understand that? Without revelation. Remove revelation from the equation. Remove the scriptures in the midst of humans, and we will by default begin to depreciate ourselves. Because the most powerful of all spiritual forces is man's view of himself. And the way we understand our nature, our destiny, is the singular force that determines everything else in our lives. And that is the reason why, if we are confused and if our information about ourselves is sourced from anything and anywhere and anyone except the revelation of God, it's going to be an existence of confusion and depreciation. And that is the reason why, if I'm going to, the Apostle Paul goes, if I'm going to tell you about the Kaiosune Theou, if I'm going to tell you the gospel, which is the only news that matters for human beings, I need to start with the context. And I'm going to lay down the groundwork or why this is so important to human beings. And the reason why this is so important to human beings is because there is not a single human being exempted from hell. No one is righteous. We are on a pathway cascading towards highway hell. Everyone here is damned except for that highway over there. Except for the intersection of that. Except when that intersection got introduced. But the Apostle Paul goes, but I'm not going to start there. Because the story does not begin there. The story begins with my terror, God says. And that's not human, because if I'm going to introduce myself to people, I'm not going to start, I'm Diwa, and I'm so capable of anger. I'm like the Incredible Hulk when I get upset. So before we get to know each other, just so you know, I can be very angry. No human being will introduce himself that way. We call that, ano ba yan? Messiah Jataya. Why are you introducing yourself like this? But God is God. He does things differently. And so when he introduces himself, hey people, just so you get me, I am not Incredible Hulk. I am the God of wrath. That's my other side. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you don't know me as the God of wrath, you will never understand why I'm the God of love. And when you get these two together, and you get a proper appreciation of who I am, then you will bend your knee and worship me. And your lives will never be the same again, because you're before the Holy God. And so remove your sandals, young man and young woman and old man and old woman. Remove your sandals before me. You're standing on holy ground. Amen. He said, standing, do not desecrate this place, because you are standing before me. Now let me introduce myself to you. That's the Holy God. And so we go to the text. People, this is the introduction of season 2. Second time. Let's go. Now, we look at one text, and this is the amazing text of verse 18, chapter 1. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. In the Greek, the first word there is revelation. It's apocalyptic, right? Apocalyptekai, apocalyptekai, which is apocalypsis, right? And then the third word and the fourth is orgeitheu, which is this crazy, terrifying word. The wrath of God. So what's being said is, let me introduce myself to you. Before I introduce anything here, let me introduce my wrath, my version of wrath. And by the way, my version of wrath is not something that I made up. It's been here with me since time immemorial, infinity. The wrath of God is part of me. And so I'm just going to open it up and let you know that this is who I am. And this is what I'm capable of doing. And by the way, I cannot stop myself from doing this, because I shall do this the way things are. My wrath will be experienced. And it is just my personal restraint that's holding me back because it's about to be poured upon all. That's what God is saying. The wrath of God. I have a very simple outline here, and there are three here. The first one is anger. Like we to see that, anger. The second one is against. And the third one is arrogance. Simple outline, anger, against, arrogance. Let's go back. Anger against arrogance. Like we have to remember, the first one is anger. And so we're going to look at the anger of God, which is actually a mild English translation, if you come to think of it, because it's better to say wrath. So it's the wrath of God. What does that mean? What does the orge to you mean? What does it mean for a kind and loving and generous God to be angry? Is he even capable of that? Is that not kind of like a contradiction because he's so loving? So how can he be so... I understand this because, you know, humans, when we get upset or when we are angered, something comes out. Even the most gentle of us. I'm scanning you and I happen to know your temperament, so nothing personal. I'm looking at Kuya Noel with the floor, who is the epitome of kindness. I'm looking at you, sir. I cannot conceptually imagine you in anger. I haven't seen you. Noel. I know Albert has seen it, but I have not. And I cannot quite imagine an angry Noel with the floor. But I was once warned, do not upset the most kind. Huwag niyong gagalitin ng mga mababait. Gigising ang dragon. I don't need to translate that. Do not rouse a very kind man, or you will regret a fury that you've never seen before. You know, I've seen that. I've seen that. I've already told you the story of my grandfather, my Lolo Tomas, who's a pastor, the kindest man on earth. I think he's kinder than anyone that I've ever experienced. But in a prayer meeting where I was kind of like raucous and they were all bowed down and I was kind of like teasing my sister Cheryl here. You know, I've experienced that wrath, the kindest man on planet Earth that I've seen. Without any trepidation, that man exacted his fury. When I was playing around while they were praying, I was playing. You know, Lolo Tomas, the pastor, I think at that time he was, what, 70s? Kindest man who always blesses me with his hands. When I'm sick, lays his hand on my forehead and then prays. And always holds the Bible. My goodness, touches people during his visits. It's like being touched by Jesus. Suddenly, while I was playfully ignoring the presence of God in the prayer meeting, that hand turned into the hand of and I was uprooted from my seat. and I just went at the center and seeing stars. I must admit, I was wondering, my God, how can this be that this kind man suddenly turns into a dragon? Well, siyempre nagtampo ko kay Lolo. May tampo. Kasi he's not supposed to be angry because he's just a human. So I kind of like, this is kind of like off. Why did he not just correct me gently? What is the need to strike me in the back of my head? That's pretty embarrassing. Anyway, no matter what you do, if you're a human being, something is off when you get upset because somehow you're human. And so when we get affected by it in several ways, but we totally get this. What human, no matter how kind, would not be incensed at the sight of children abduction or child prostitution or mass genocide? What kind man would not shudder with anger, in anger, looking at this? I get that. But God is saying, you are capable of that. But please don't compare yourselves with me. Because God is saying, I am absolutely perfect. And I'm absolutely holy. And what God is saying is this. When I created the world, I had specific purposes for the mighty sun. The sun was created by me so that the sun might be at the center of the solar system, so that I gave the sun direct commands on what kind of heat it should emit, so that it's not going to destroy creation, but provide what's just necessary. I ordered the rain to pour down its lush affect on everything, so that there's going to be flourishing, and just the right amount, you know. And I gave them boundaries, even the mighty waves that are kind of like terrifying. I gave them strict orders. You can hurl it as high as you can, but only there. Do not attack the beaches. Stop there. I give them strict orders. There's a boundary for everything. Because I'm a God who measures everything that I do. And I give you eyes. Your eyes were specifically formed to look at what's good. Your ears to listen only to what's necessary. I gave you minds to think about what's pure and lovely in my estimate. I gave you your hands to touch to bless. I gave you your feet to walk where I want you to go. And so, creatures look at creation because creation adores me. Why are you so disobedient? Why are your eyes towards there? Why are you going there? You think I'm going to look at you and say, oh, how cute, they're going there. Oh, how cute, they're curious. You think I'm just going to look at that and tolerate that? I am a perfect God, and I give you the breath that I can actually take out when I want it, whenever I want it. You think I'm not going to have orgate you? You gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding. You humans, you gotta be kidding. You have pets, and you try to give them their identity. You give them all sorts of names because of the tenderness and affections you have for your dogs, and you train them in a precise way. Do not poo-poo in the living room. Do not make wee-wee here. That's why I'm spending too much on diapers, okay? You're a dog, you're wearing diapers because I'm training you. You will be a good dog, and the dog says, there's a good dog, here's your treat. What happens when that dog, no matter how cute, violates for one infraction? You go wild and you say, go out! You're ignoring my diaper expenses here? We are upset because of one dog. And God is looking at us and saying, are you kidding me? I crafted everything about you. Even before you were born, I got your name on your journal, your personal journal, and I know exactly the number of days that you're going to live. I determined it already. And by the way, I determined already who your parents are going to be, adopted or not. I know what your diseases and illnesses are because of this broken world. Not telling people, when I was born, Did my parents know that at age 50, I'm going to have this tumor, this benign tumor in my jaw that will require the removal of my lower jaw? Did my mom, upon birth, waited for about 2 years, and I was 2-year-old, hello baby boys, sleep my darling Gucci, because you know at age 50, we will have to remove this jaw, because God said, my mother was clueless. It was God's shock. No, God knew I was going to have this at age 50 because nothing surprises Him. But because He's so good, He's going to recalculate it for His purposes. My thorn will be calculated, and so will be yours. There was time in my life in the village, that in Pampanga, that I was hoping that I was born into a different family. Because we're 6 in the family, we always fight for something. And so I kind of like look at the others who are just 2 and 3, and they're affluent. Like, sana doon na lang ako pinanganak kay Doktor. It's kind of like weirded out, because kind of like, I'm hoping for a different situation. But God is not like that. God saw to it that's going to be born to Tomas and Carol. And God knew that my dad will kind of like mess up on the 3rd quarter of the basketball game, and kind of like I would have a hard time dealing with that. God knew that. He is not surprised, but He re-navigates and recalculates it. Because He can do that. He can so do that if you allow Him. Nothing surprises Him, but if there's anything that He can stand, it is this. When you ignore His kindness, when you ignore His offer, when He tells you, I am so not upset, I have total and absolute wrath, it's more than upset, because you are not getting it. I gave you your life. I have formed everything about you, and you're ignoring my person and my order. The soil is better than you, because the soil, don't look at the soil and call it dirty, like you have brand new Nike shoes and you go, oops, madudumi ka. Mas marumi ka sa putik, sabi ng Diyos. We are dirtier than the soil. God is saying, because the soil obeys me. The soil, when it rains, it becomes soft in obedience. When it's summer and it's blistering hot, the soil obeys, tumitigas siya. It obeys what God imposes upon it, not humans. Humans redefine their identities when God made man and women. By the way, you'll see it in season 2, how He would define sexual identity. But humans these days, they redefine sexuality as though they are the most sophisticated in terms of social analysis. And so they say, let no one tell me what I need to do with my body, because this is my body, and my orientation, my sexual orientation is for me to decide, not unless you want me to sue you. Let me define who am I going to marry. If I want to marry a man, and I want to marry a man, don't you dare point a finger at me, okay? Because you don't tell me. If I want to marry my dog, I will marry my dog. By the way, that's about to happen. There's another group. If we want to marry as a group, 6 classmates. We want to marry the 6 of us. Para masaya. The more the better. It's group marriage, people. You think I'm making this up? It's on. And there's even this wonderful thing for the progressive. It's called open marriage. Papakasalan kita, pero pwede pa rin ako mag-date, ha? I was thinking, are you kidding me? That's the arrangement? Oh, you are ancient, Pastor. You kind of like archaic, and I'm sorry, I should not even brought it up. This is just for us, the progressives, the millennials. God is looking at this, and you think God's going to say, okay, so cute, what a modification. My goodness, I didn't think of that. They're reinventing the thing. I was asked by a naive, innocent person when I was working, said, Pastor, if I'm a man and have affections for another man, by the way, I have deep compassion. I'm not saying this in a derogatory way. I have very deep compassion for persons who are just going through these kinds of battles. Okay? And I think I have a solid ministry towards them because I really love them. That's the only reason why I am trying to formulate my personal view biblically and asking God theologically what I need to do with this. So bear with me. So this person I was with said, Pastor, can I ask you a LBGT question? And I go, oh, okay, what? If I'm a man and I have affections towards another man, conceptually, by the way, he's not a man, it's a woman, how do they express themselves like intimately? If they get married because it's same sex already. Same sex marriage, man and man. That's a very, very naive person. I guess because it's pure, very pure person. I'm just wondering how do they express themselves intimately? Then I got kissing, and then go, huh? Yes, I think it's kissing. Is that all? Like in bed, they just kiss? I don't think so, I said. I hope the question ended there. So how do they express it? I think they're being creative, I said. And then she goes, how do they become creative? I think they're that. And then I go, it's very creative, I said. And then the person goes, is that the reason why there's an illness like HIV? Because it's related to germs? Because I think the person died, the creative aspect of it. I think you're onto something I said. It is most unnatural, don't you think? It is most unnatural. And God did not design it that way. But there is a reinvention. And that's the reason why God is telling us exactly what He thinks about it, not what we think about it. Because the moment we think about, we impose our thoughts on any issue in our life, we will reinvent everything. And what is unnatural, we will force it. What's not supposed to be, we will enter into that. And then we'll find that there's nothing there. There is no joy because this was never made for that. It's when the wrath of God. He said, I'm not going to take this lightly, actually, God is saying. By the way, that's not the only issue. Some people, they isolate that as though it's the only issue that rouses the wrath of God. No. Anything that deviates from the order of God, the way we speak, the way we treat each other, the way we malign each other, slander, everything, greed, everything, even gluttony, everything that God has revealed concretely in His Word. Anything that deviates from His order is an attack. Listen, it's an attack towards the person of God. Not only an attack towards the person of God, but it is a bold statement. Humans telling God, you're dumb. I'm wise. And I'm going to show you what life needs to look like. If you're God, are you going to stand back and be cool about that? Because you're absolutely just. And God is saying, not me. I am absolute God. I created you. Everything in the universe obeys me except you. That's why. Welcome to my wrath. By the way, it's about to be unleashed. And do you know what's restraining it? I am restraining it. If you think you're the one restraining it, you gotta be kidding. That's what God is saying. That is the orgate for you. The anger of God is impending people. What He's revealing is this. Do not ignore it. Do not deny it. Don't pretend it does not exist. Because it's about to break. It's about to break. You know why we say it's about to break? If one person here has not trusted Jesus, do you know that God can literally snuff the breath out of you and you will fall headlong to hell in eternal damnation with no more hope? That's the wrath of God impending. It's now. And of course, there's a future sense when it's going to be towards all who do not say, Jesus, I need you. But if there's anyone here who is remained arrogant and is telling God, I know better than you, I'm just here participatory, I'm just socializing here, but I have not surrendered my life to Jesus. Well, the news includes this. The wrath of God is not only knocking at your door, you are subscribed already. And if it were not for the sovereign restraint of God in your life right now, you'll be sliding quickly with no hope of any redemption. It's immediate and it's quick. And Psalm 73 actually says that in very graphic form. The one who disregards God will slide immediately with nothing to hold on to and with no warning. Has this happened? Yes, you know, this happened. This happens every day. When people who are healthy, people who go to the gym every day, they're so buff, they ignore God and they die immediately with no provocation. People who are young, people who are old, is no respecter. When God says, your time is over. It's over. It's impending. So let's not pretend that it's not there. That's what God is saying. Ay, may oras pa. Saka na lang ako magsusurrender kay Lord. Don't do that. Today is the day of salvation because the wrath of God is upon you. It's face to face. It's right there. And people, let's not be mayabang. Let's not be arrogant. If you're in Christ, do you know what separates us from those who are subscribed to the wrath of God? Do you know what separates us? Grace. We have nothing to do with it. It's the Kayosura saying, which is the righteousness of God. So we cannot even brag that we're better than them. Drop that. Drop that mind, Christians. We tell people we're better than you because you're all going to hell. Don't say that. That's not our purview. I think let God say that. But let's live lives that would attract these people. And let's share why we are like this. Let's proclaim the news. why we are like this. And they will not be able to escape the truth. That what we say is actually the truth. Hopefully the spiritual amnesia will disappear. A second word, anger, and then it's against. What is the wrath of God against? God is against pasan, asebeyan, kai, adikian, against all ungodliness and unrighteousness. Those are like first cousins in the Greek, okay? The first four in the Ten Commandments, like ungodliness, and the last six are unrighteousness. It's like the summation of the Ten Commandments. So it's kind of like lumped together. Anything that just kind of like out of order in the eyes of God, God is totally against that. Huh? The anger of God. Don't think that God is upset. He's not upset. He's totally angry. Angry enough that He needs to stop it. You know what anger is? You have to do it in order to stop it. Huh? And you know why we know that it is that serious? Because it is so against unrighteousness and ungodliness. And towards the perpetuator, the person who does it, you know how serious it is? You know what? It is so dead serious because God said, I am so angry at you, you cannot even pay it. You cannot even pay it. Even if I kill you now and throw you into eternal damnation, it won't even suffice. You know, that's how bad it is. Even if I call on the entire biblical community church, I'll just kill you all to save the unbelievers. It will not even suffice. Even if I call on the entire humanity and I chop their heads off because I'm so angry, God said, that's not even enough. So you know what I'm going to do, God said. Because I'm all fair and I'm so the God of just, and because I'm also the God of love primarily, that's my ID. You know what I'm going to do? I will kill my son. I'll send my son to die. Okay, enough. God is saying, enough. I'll send my son to die. He dies for all of you. He will die. Son, what do you think? And the son says, yes, Abba, I'll die for them. And the Holy Spirit goes, let's do this. And the son goes. And he gets crucified. And with wide outstretched arms, he goes, this is the Kayasune Teyu. This is the righteousness of God, the innocent God, dying for you. Is there anything better than that? And then we spit on him and we say, I have a redefinition of life. Are you crazy? You want me to surrender to you? What do you think God will do to a person who insults him that way when he sends his son? Now tell me, what will he do? Will he want to say, how cute? The wrath has no choice but to be expressed. That's why it's against this. Against all ungodliness and all unrighteousness. And against what? It's anger against arrogance. Because, you know, look at the last line. Who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. The truth is aletheia, the last line, the first word. And then adikia, katekonton. I like that. Parang pansit kanton, katekonton. It's kind of like suppressing. Oh my goodness, what a powerful word. You know, that's why in Greek is fascinating. It's kind of like seeing the word dancing like katekonton. It's kind of like suppressing the truth. You know how it is when you have a pipe problem and you have a plumbing issue and it's spitting out like that? Or have you seen Saving Private Ryan when the young soldier got hit in the tummy and he was down on the floor and all the other buddies were doing the best to suppress the wound. It's like a fountain thing. Oh! And all the others are kind of like pressing down and saying, Mama, Mama! Get the bandits, get the bandits. And they go, oh, don't show. Oh, suppressing, that's the Greek word. It's there, but you're suppressing it so hard. But it won't stop because it's the fountain. And God is saying, you are so arrogant. The truth is all over the place. And you're suppressing it. You are so arrogant. Ang yayabang nyo. And guys, you think I'm just going to watch you? My goodness. God is saying, my wrath is upon you. Let me introduce my name this way. I'm the God of wrath. No wonder he introduces himself this way. Amen. So that we'll have the proper context and the rest of who he is. But he has to begin this way so that we'll know that there's nothing cheesy about the gospel. It's not even a matter of life and death, people. It's a matter of eternal life and eternal death. And so, if we're going to do this, the wrath of God is merely restrained. Yes. It's merely restrained by, say, by the bell. The wrath of God is merely restrained by His grace. Nothing more. And isn't that more dramatic than when I say it's merely restrained by His grace? And then the communion cup comes over and the bread. You know what restrains it? That one. Because we still have that now. And so if you have that, throw yourselves completely into His mercy. Is there any deviation in your life now? Maybe I'm talking to the choir. You're all believers, I know you. But people, the air that we breathe is so foul, and sometimes we get contaminated, and so you're kind of like, why is my life lacking the fire, the zest? Why? There has to be joy, but Lord, why? And you know what? Maybe there's a short-circuiting, maybe there's a disconnect, and the reason why you need to hear this message right now is because God is reintroducing Himself to you, and He's saying, my daughter, my precious child, you know, something in your life is compromised. Go back to the center. You are not meant for wrath, by the way. You're supposed to be my examples. But I cannot use you that way because you're beginning to look like them. You're beginning to walk like them, and you're beginning to talk like them. You're beginning to appear like them. I cannot use you that way. You're not children of wrath. You're children of the covenant of grace. And so, may I reintroduce myself? You know me, right? I'm the God of wrath. But I've given you my love in Christ Jesus, so this is the day that you reconcile with me. Is there any bitterness in your life? Is there anything that's compromised? This is the day that you tell God, it stops here, my Lord. Today, right now, it stops. I know it will cost me something, but it will stop right now. I'm yours. You are mine. Throw yourselves completely unto God's mercy. Let the seat where you're seated be the altar where you commune with God.